Hello there. So, it seems like Sims has the advantage going into this race again. I believe he won last week, and seems to be continuing on with that. He seems to be the fastest driver on track, and not much more to say about it, that he is fast. Of course, Officer Cap, who won last week, is currently in P7, not as doing as well as last week, so that could be something to watch out for as he makes his way through the field. Yeah. It's actually the same gap that we did see yesterday in IC. Of course, that race is not going to plan. Let's hope this race doesn't go like that yesterday. But right now, it seems like it will be a very good race. Of course, these teams now all bet in the series. We actually do have live cameras and can tell who has a chance. So just seeing this down the field, we have Epic Dude currently who hasn't set a time, and Goya, who in the low left. Yeah, and just looking at someone, Chris down in P11, I believe he did very well yesterday in IEC qualifying. Yes, that is the same person that did very well in IEC qualifying yesterday. I'm surprised to see them so far down the field here. Possibly could have focused their efforts too much on the other series that was going on yesterday. And of course, the other Dolphin electric car is, let's see. Do you know what position who's the other Dolphin electric driver? Ah, Peanut. Yeah. Wow. Just looking at that P7 to P10, that is split by 4/10. That's major. Yeah, that's the same gap from second to third. We just won't talk about Sims absolutely destroying the rest of the field currently. Seems like Puffy has also disconnected him and Vexala. If he does not rejoin, he won't be that happy. Yeah, and it looks like that will be Goya's final time. I suspect, based on how far that is off, about a minute 30, that was a outlap possibly, as he had abandoned other laps, but that is a horrible time from him. He's going to be starting last, or possibly second to last, as Epic Dude has not set a time. I don't know if he's actually racing though. We would need to get information from anyone. Of course, though, he did. The thing is, even if he did hop in a car, he is series restricted, I believe. So, that's gonna be something the stewards would want to check out. If I quickly check the series restrictions that we have, of course, in Ion you can't race in multiple series without being series restricted. Epic Dude, let's see here. Yes, he is series restricted in the X-Bow. That is something we're going to be wanting to watch out for, as if Epic Dude. think the stewards would definitely want to check out why Epic Dude has done what he has done. The thing is, wouldn't it? Deephud, my thinking is, I feel like he. Okay. I still feel like that's interesting as. I feel like it should delete your time if you hop out of the car and you don't actually cross the line. But that's something that they would want to look into. Because Korea has now disconnected, so we have two disconnected. Now Curious is now back. And it does not look.
Hello everybody and welcome to Ion I8 Championship. A big close grid today, well, except for the person on pole position. That's going to be Sims in the fleet, 2 seconds ahead of P2, although from P2 down to around P7, barely a second splits them. Here's the track we're going to be battering out on today in Marrakesh in 13 turns. And around a 1 minute 13.474 lap time. That's the fastest time in FP1, sorry. A chicane, long sweeping right-hander, 2, 3, 4. Long sweep, another one between turns 9, 10 and 11. Sharp left-hander at turn 11 actually. And the pit lane stretching down the start-finish straight. Here is the grid then for the Marrakesh ePrix. A fleet on P1, as you can see. And joining you in the commentary box today is going to be me, Deephud Dolphin, and Lion Guy.
Hello there.
Anything, we just saw qualifying, anything exciting you're expecting?
I would definitely expect Sims to have the advantage going into this race. Based on him, no one seems to be able to challenge him. So tell me, it seems like the midfield behind him will be very close, but Sims look like he's going to be walking away with this race. But, of course, we do have race winners from last week behind him, and people will finish on the podiums, as it seems like we're getting ready on the towers to get racing.
Yep. The tower is just being configured here. Bring you a lap count right now, a 29 lap race around the streets of Marrakesh.
That should be about a 45-minute race, so that should be very interesting to watch.
Driver's been told to jump out. Here we go, populating the timing screen. "16 cars on the grid. Yellow flag still being shown. Hopefully that will change to a green flag very shortly. As I can hear some engines revving. In neutral, however, so not going to be going anywhere. Oh, and it seems like there's going to be a late addition. That is FOX-ish. I don't know how to say that. So that's going to be a late addition. I wonder whether they're going to have to get people to jump out because, again, because they did set they did cross the 3rd sector timings line. So it's currently displaying them as P1, although that is incorrect.
Yeah, he's in the X21. That's going to cause a small issue there. Of course, they won't be very happy about that.
Yep, so they're going to have to clear and reset, and then everyone have to jump out, jump in again. There we go. Word from the race director, Singster.
So it seems like the new car that came in is part of the X21. It is a team that is one of the least favorable ones in racing.
Okay, there we go. 17 drivers on the grid now. Green flag is shown. The lights will be coming on very shortly.
Seems like we've lost a driver, actually. Don't know who's supposed to be.
It says we've got 18 now. Very interesting. That's 5 lights. And they're off and away in Marrakesh. Looks like a good start for Sims. That's not surprising. All the drivers moving over to the right to get onto the racing line. As we go into turn 1, the fleet car still seems to be in the lead. There's a McLaren up there too, looking to be around P4. However, Tatemi is right on the rear of that fleet car. Going now down into turn 3. What is it looking like at the front? It's looking like a Pro Drive now getting involved, and Tatemi also getting involved there. Pro Drive goes wide though, so that is not going to gain them any time whatsoever. Going into the chicane, I think it may be that 97 car in the lead. Yes, it is, but only by a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, it seems like Nicholas is following him up with a very good start. Sims has started to fall back into field. It seems like FF Devon has made a place, and we already have our first DNF for the race. The crate of Curious seems to have disconnected. And going back on, the car that is not with us today is Puffy, who decided to not start the race. That is one car that we are missing from qualifying.
Sims is falling down, now P5 for the pole sitter. We thought he would have got a good start, he did off the line, but going into the long right-hander of turns 2 and 3, just lost it. Tatemi still leads the race, 8/10 to Nicholas behind, and FF Devon in the Touran is 1.2 seconds, but they're now going to cross the line. Sims gets more out of shape out of the final corner. That is not going to help the fleet whatsoever. FF Devon takes the fastest lap, 4/10 behind the leader now. Nicholas falls to P3. Finale is now 1.3 seconds behind the leader in P4. P5 is going to go to Officer Cap. P6 goes to Dark. P7 goes to Chrisen. P8 goes to Tingers in the Dolphin electric car. P9 goes to Sims. And P10 goes to the X21.
Yeah, it seems like Dartemi is starting to control this race. It could be possible Sims' race pace is worse than his qualifying pace. Could be from the drop-off, or he has been making too many mistakes. If he wants to continue going on, he'll definitely need to minimize that, as it seems like FF Devon was the fastest in the first sector.
Oh, Officer Cap and Dark YZ92 are having a very good scrap, but that's just gone to FF Devon, who just clipped the wall there. Not going to aid the Touran whatsoever, also just sliding around there a little bit, so it seems like the Innotech may have a little bit of an advantage over the cars ahead, as we now go into the final sector. What's it looking like at the front? Tatemi still absolutely dominating this race. P2, now the McLaren, gonna stay the McLaren, 9/10, nearly a whole second. Dark takes 3rd, Nicholas takes 4th, Officer Cap takes 5, and a Touran of FF Devon is already down to 6, 3.9 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, and our pulse to Sims is all the way down 12 seconds off the leaders. That is a horrible start for him, as it seems like Finelli has caught up to Tatemi, but it is a great start of the race to 97, as they are both cars in P1 and P3, them going into this hairpin.
Tinger's just set the purple Sector 1. That's the fastest Sector 1 we've seen all day. Are they going to hold it up into Sector 2? We'll find out in a second, because the timings line is just at the end of this straight. Finelli takes the lead out of Sector 2 with 2 purple sectors. Also currently has the fastest lap. Tingers can't improve, so it's not looking like a fastest lap at the moment for the Dolphin electric car. However, the McLaren now into the lead ahead of Tatemi in the 97. Wow, just absolutely storming away here. Nearly 5/10 of a second, nearly half a second between these top 2 runners, although on track it looks incredibly close. We'll have to see what the vision lag does. But has Tatemi made a mistake? I believe Tatemi just made a mistake out of the penultimate corner, because the Pro Drive is right there with him.
Yeah, he's definitely lost a bunch of time there. Seems to have fallen back to all the way back to Nicholas, 2 seconds. But Finelli is definitely starting to pull away. He just needs to keep it clean and might have this race under control. Of course, we'll not be seeing any pit stops here, so it's all that the drivers can do. As Tatemi actually sets the fastest first sector, that could be a good sign of what's coming on, as these drivers still 4 laps in are setting fastest sector 1s.
Very interestingly though, from the fleet of Simsomo Sim 93 that set a purple Sector 3 last lap, now improving in Sector 1 on their personal best, so I wonder whether a mid-race resurgence can come for this car, this driver. We'll just have to wait and see though. Starting on pole, now down to 7th for those of you just joining us, a big drop for this team.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a nice battle going on between Nicholas and Temi currently. They seem to be very close to each other. Of course, down the back straight, they'll be getting slipstream from each other. I'll allow Nicholas to close back up, but it seems like Temi has already made a bit of a gap. Nicholas could have made a mistake there. Temi having the fastest Sector 1 of the race, but it seems like Finelli is just pulling away. As we cross the timing line, Temi actually sets the fastest lap of the race, closing on a Nicholas 7/10 in that final sector. That would be major if Nicholas can keep that pace in the Pro Drive.
FF Devon at the moment in the Tour are not improving at all. Neither are the top 3 so far in the first sector, although Dark is currently the highest driver, improving on their personal best time. No purple sectors to be seen just yet, although the bottom half of the field still need to set their first sector. Currently, the back of the field is Father Ewok, followed by Robotech, Anonymous, TBG, Random Noob Person, and FOX-ish, with Christian and Tingers the bottom point scorer so far for the Dolphin Electric team.
Yes, it seems like the Temi sets a good Sector 2. Here it seems to be closing really fast on Finelli here. We'll definitely need to see how close they are at the end of this race, but it seems like they're definitely closer. We should be seeing a move in a few laps based on this current pace, but a mistake could happen for either of these two drivers. Of course, this is a junior series, so it is possible. As Finelli seems to be all out of shape out of that last corner, as it seems like the Temi has closed down the gap by a second in that last sector.
Big improvements.
As Finelli goes very wide there, that's the late loss, and that was too easy for Temi. Temi just put him under pressure, and Finelli just went wide, losing about a second and a half there.
That is not going to aid that McLaren team in any way, shape or form. The difference between P1 and P2 at the end of the race in terms of points is quite stark. 18 points for second, 25 points for first, and then you get an extra point fastest lap as well. So at the moment, Temi is going to be running away with 26 points to their name. However, as we just saw, that can all change in the space of one corner, because Finelli is still putting the pressure on, setting some reasonable sector times, although Temi is improving in Sector 2. Nicholas is improving in Sector 2. Is anyone else going to be improving in Sector 2? We'll find out soon with Sims, as they now enter turn 8. Sims is improving.
Yeah, it seems like Temi had a really good Sector 2. Here, Temi makes a mistake and he's into the wall.
That's going to give the lead back to the McLaren. And that's going to give the Pro Driver an advantage too. A lot of place there. I'd see him. Nicholas could get past him. Temi makes a horrible mistake there. Temi's ahead by a 10th.
Really, how you win this race is speed and not making any mistakes. If you keep your nose clean, as neither of these leaders have really done, you have a chance of winning this race. It's really who can make less mistakes, as Temi has already clawed back about 5/10 in that last sector, in the first sector.
At the moment, I think the person who may have fallen the most is Tingers. They started P3 on the grid for the Dolphin Electric team, but now are 7 positions down in P10. 22.2 seconds currently behind the leader. That's pretty much, looking at the FP2 times, a quarter of a lap down already, although it's not that bad for them compared to their teammate Father Ewok, down in 17th, 55 seconds now behind the leader, although I do believe that they had very little practice on this track.
Yes, it seems like Temi sets another fastest sector 2 of the race, so that's a purple sector coming in. We should be seeing Temi close up here. Of course, not making the same mistake he made last time. These drivers learning every race is preparing them to get into Formula E. Finelli sets his fastest Sector 3. It seems like Temi has also went wide a bit in there again. Seems to be losing time in that first sector.
2.4, that changes to 2.25 seconds now for Temi. I'm not sure whether that fastest lap did improve, or what? Because it was a yellow sector 1 and a yellow sector 3, yellow sector sandwich for that purple sector 2. So they already held the fastest lap, so I'm not sure whether that was an improvement. But for the time being, they still holds the fastest lap, as Tingers has managed to get ahead of the Touran of FF Devon. They're falling down quite significantly. They were fighting for a podium earlier in the race.
Yeah, now we have Officer Cap setting his personal best. Sector 1 seems to be already making up places, as there seems to be a bit of a movement going, as Officer Cap has made up a lot of places in that Sector 2, all the way up to P3, a race winner from last weekend.
That orange and black Innertech car doing well to hold P3. Datemi in the lead, 3.4 seconds to the McLaren in P2. Now 7 seconds to Dark as Officer Cap falls to P5, although that battle for P3 is still raging on lap 9 of the Marrakesh ePrix.
Yeah, it seems like the first 9 laps have been very good. We've seen a lot of action, and we still have over two-thirds of this race to go. So we should be seeing a lot more coming very shortly.
Going through the chicane now for the Pro Drive. Looks very smooth. Again, a massive battle going on for P3 between Nicholas in the Pro Drive, Dark in the 97 car, and Officer Cap in the Innertech car, because Fernley's just set a purple sector 2. Is that McLaren going to be improving and snatch the fastest lap back? We'll have to wait and see, because that yellow sector 1 may hinder that final time for Finale. Currently P2, 3.166 seconds behind the leader of Datemi, going through the penultimate corner. Keep it nice, keep it smooth, carry lots of speed through. We're going to see what happens in Sector 3. Here's the finish line, and it's a yellow Sector 3, can't improve. However, Datemi set a purple Sector 3. Dark is improving in their personal best Sector 3. Finally, can't take the fastest lap. FF Devon up to 9th with Lowly Sneaky Aishan 06P, lovely long name, sharing the position actually between the Touran and the other car, the Petronas Red Bull.
So just some details here that I'm looking at. The best lap of this race is shared actually equally. They both have set a 14.741.
Very
and
interesting.
It seems like a Datemi and Finelli. Actually, no man, these computers are not accurate. I'm sorry about
that. FF Devon set a purple Sector 1.
As it seems like somebody's trying to get blue flags here. I don't know who's being lapped currently.
Probably
yes,
Father Ewok. As Robotech Masterlol's disconnected from the race, that's going to be a DNF.
Yeah, but he was very low in the race already. Probably has given up. Let's see how FF Devon is doing here, though.
I believe FF Devon is about to cross the finish line. Yes, they are in the Touran. Purple Sector 1, yellow Sector 2. What's it going to be in Sector 3? A yellow Sector 3. No improvement there. No chance of snatching the fastest lap away from the leader. That would have given that Touran team an extra point. But no, as the X21 of FO Exich is now into P9. Points scoring positions, everybody. X21 could get some points at the Marrakesh ePrix.
Yeah, we're getting very close to halfway through this race, and it seems like Datemi has strengthened the gap to Finelli, as Nicholas sets the fastest Sector 2 of the race. Seems to be doing very well there. Seems to be catching up to Doc in the 97.
It's a bit of a tongue twister, that team's name, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But, I guess...
Is it going to be another false hope for Pro Drive? Purple Sector 2, yellow Sector 1. Will it turn into our fastest lap? No, it won't. Yellow Sector 3,
Seems like
although
a
it
lot
does turn into a third position at the moment. But the battle for P3 still rages on between Nicholas, Dark, and Officer Cap.
Yeah, it seems like there isn't much action going on here. We do have the battle for P3, but it seems like Dark is getting that edge on him currently.
This is Officer Cap in the Innotech, currently behind the lowest scoring car.
That's Nicholas. Nicholas into the wall there.
Oh, Nicholas has spun, and well, as so has Father Ewok in the DER. No points for Father Ewok, so that's not going to be that big of an issue. Although for the Pro Drive of Nicholas, they were challenging for P3. So that's now going to be a massive loss of positions, a massive loss of time. How long is it going to be before Sims may be able to get into the range of that Pro Drive and try to snatch P5?
Yeah, but it seems like Nicholas would try and get back at Officer Cap as he was fighting for P3. He's going to want those P3 as he lost a lot of points there. But it seems like the Temi is starting to lose a bit of a gap to Finelli. Yeah, those names very similar.
Yeah, 2.783 seconds.
Oh, it's Dark's at his fastest sector 1 of the race. We could be in a very good lap here. As the second sector of this race is just being traded around who has the fastest one. We'll see if Dark can do anything against it.
Looked smooth out of the chicane.
And our P2 person Finelli is out of the race!
Finelli's disconnected! That's going to give Dark P2!
Yeah, and that's a 1-2 for X to 90Z. 9T7. That's a 1-2 for 19-7. Which they seem to be doing very well here.
Officer Cap's up to third.
Yeah, Officer Cap is in P2.
Nicholas sets a purple sector 2.
Yeah, also Dark and Officer Cap had green sectors on this lap.
So Nicholas now the only remaining Pro Drive. Oh wait, no, sorry. Is Runaway Driver Pro Drive? Okay, I got them two drivers confused. So many blue cars on the grid. TBG24 is going to be the only remaining McLaren.
Yeah, and it seems like currently we have one Red Bull remaining, and we have 0 Quakes. The single and only Quake car has disconnected from the race. But that's a massive disappointment for Finelli, though. He would not be coming back into this race today. So we are reaching the halfway mark of this race.
We thought Sims might be able to storm to victory with a massive advantage after a 2-second advantage for P1 in qualifying, although that hasn't turned into anything. Only a midfield drive so far for the fleet car, although the person who has managed to create a storming advantage in the race is Tatemi.
Oh, is that someone spinning?
11 seconds ahead of their teammate.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I just saw Officer Cap spin. So that's going to promote Sims up to P4, right on the back of Nicholas.
What about the
P3.
other Pro Drive?
The other Pro Driver Runaway seems to be doing very well. Seems to be following them and is under attack by FF Devon. But it seems like we'll see what the official thing is as Nicholas is down. P3 is Sims in P4. Only 2 seconds separating them, but the leader to second place is separated by 13 seconds. So if the Temi needs to keep it clean here, and you'll be fine. Can Sim snatch away a podium place? Expected him to win this race, but expectations aren't anything. In racing, anything can happen.
Looking good for 97 in this race then. I don't think they would have gone into it expecting a 1-2, but with i8 you really never know. These cars generate very little dirty air, so you can really follow and get behind them. Do obviously cause a little bit of slipstream, need some retuning with some actual electric sounds, but I don't think they'd change that much. They're just a little bit too quick at the moment.
Yeah, but one thing to note here is we're actually the other Quake driver is not here, so that's something that we should note for. Something to also note is I don't believe there's another twin running, so that's gonna be something in the FOXIS. I said a green sector in his first 2 sectors. We'll see if he has a chance at the fastest lap.
40 seconds behind the leader, but they're in the top 10, so if they do get the fastest lap, it will count for points.
Yes, it seems like Sims is closing down on Nicholas now. Sims has hit the rhythm, but he did just tap the wall there. We'll see how fast FOX-ish does here.
Right, let's hope they didn't do anything wrong in the 3rd sector, but not fast enough to claim the fastest lap.
Yeah, but we should go on board with Sims. He seems to be really close to Nicholas now. Seems to have lost a bit of time, but is still continuing to try and catch up here. Yeah, seems like Sims has lost a bit of time. FOX sets another green first sector. This man's on fire with his green sectors.
Just improving on their personal best time. Oh no, but they're not going to be improving anymore because they've gone round at the chicane.
And it looks like how many positions did they lose there? It seems like they'll drop all the way down to P10. That's horrible for them.
Yeah, but that's going to be good for random new person, and Tinger's 10. That gives them some more points positions.
Yeah, and another driver, Chris, who was doing very well in endurance yesterday, possibly didn't have any practice on Marrakesh, could explain his issues today. But it seems like Nicholas is pulling out a gap from Sims now, so seems to be very interesting.
Here you can see the X21 going round at the chicane.
Yeah, that's horrible for him. He dropped all the way down to P10, but it seems like he's already trying to gain back a lot of those places he's already lost. Gets it moving. So he's about to overtake one of the orange cars. I forget which team officer cap is. He's about to overtake a black and orange car. Not as familiar with this. I believe it is... one of the teams. It's the team owned by Mogen. It's I don't know what the team is called. Never mind.
We'll figure it out.
Ooh, as random person actually sets the fastest sector 2 of the race.
So that's another Innotech doing quite well.
Yeah, and as if people watching the stream want to look in chat, a poll has just been posted. Who do you think can win the race here? We'll be looking back at that in a few laps at time to see if your thing is correct. But it seems like Sims has came so far back and is now fighting Nicholas for the race win here.
Come on, let's see what will happen to this 97 Cognizant team. Are they going to hold their 1-2? It's a 7-second gap from Dark to Nicholas, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they do. However, there are 10, at the end of this lap, there are 10 laps remaining, and as we've seen in the previous 18, anything can happen.
Yeah, just to cut you off here, but it seems like there's a fight for P3 currently. Nicholas versus Sims. It's of course to the last podium position. As it seems like Nicholas gets a horrible run hitting the wall there out of that second to last penultimate corner. Seems like
Temi is having a 58% lead. Who people in chat think that they are gonna win the race. Dark has a 25% lead, and others say in chat has a 17% lead. Although I don't think I've actually seen anyone say who they think they're gonna win in chat. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
We could go on board with Sims. Yes, he's trying to get the move done on Nicholas here. It's a very close battle.
Going into the long right-hander now. I think that the Pro Drive just hit the wall there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it seems like Sim also is out of proportion here. He hasn't been able to capitalize. Seems to have getting a lot better exit onto that one straight though. Carrying a little less speed, but getting a really good exit.
looking at how bad the vision lag is, Sims may be getting a slipstream, may not. It'll just depend on how it's looking. That's the lowest McLaren of...
Oh, as it seems like... What happened there? Did Nicholas just... Nicholas hit the wall!
Nicholas is spinning round.
Yeah, he's completely spun the wrong way around. Seems to be trying to enter the pit lane here. That's gonna give Sims P3. Let's see if Runaway can... The other pro driver can catch up. No, it seems like Nicholas is gonna fall down all the way down into P5. That is horrible. He got all out of proportion there. So let's see if our pole sitter can make any inroads on Doc here, who is 7 seconds up the road. But Temi is just controlling this race here. And the closest battle on track
running a little bit wide there for the McLaren of TBG 24.
Yeah, and it seems to be the closest battle on track is between.
Oh, Sims just hit the wall, but Sims still going.
Yeah, and speaking of the McLaren of TBG, he has hit a wall. Oh, as the Temi says, the fastest last sector of the race. That is
now coming around. Who's that? Father Ewok being lapped again.
Dolphin. That won't be that good for Dolphin Electric there. They won't be that happy about that, I suspect. As the Temi 6, the fastest first sector of the race, could be trying to set another fastest lap.
You can see Sims coming into turn 8, I believe this is. And just losing the rear end slightly and poof, knocking the front end into the wall. You can see the same with the McLaren in the rear there.
Yes, it seems like Sims sets the fastest sector 1 of the race.
$18 seconds now. 18.5 seconds. The gap between P1 and P2. That's nearly just under a third of a lap. So that's quite a significant chunk. You can see Dark all the way over here in the penultimate corner, whilst their teammate is already rounding turn 3.
As it seems like there could be somebody on track at the first chicane. The marshals might want to look at that. But Temi with the fastest sector 1, that is, yeah, interesting to say the least. Should go on board with Tinker here.
Just getting a little bit out of shape out of the penultimate corner, but going around the final corner is nice and smooth. Crossing the line now. To nearly hit exactly a minute behind the leader. 59.137 seconds. Currently running P10, so that's just going to be 1 point going to this Dolphin Electric car.
Oh, that's someone in the air. Didn't see who that was.
Oh, Temi lost it.
That was the Temi? Yeah, it seems like he did like the whole car went upwards in the air. Definitely the marshals will want to look into that, as it seems like somebody is, as he's starting to get on his way now.
You can see British Coater there at turn 1.
Yeah, but let's see how much time he lost there. Oh, as it seems like Doc has made a mistake as Sims has caught back up. Both
Sims is ahead! Sims is ahead!
Yes, it seems like both 19.7s have had a dismal first lap this lap, as they both have had issues. As Doc now needs to try and regain this position here. This is going to be huge.
Exactly a second between P2 and P3 at the line. 22 seconds between Sims and Temi. I think in the remaining 6 laps of this race, Temi may be pretty safe unless they do something quite significant. But if they're going to lose it at the final corner every lap, then no, that's not going to end well. But from what we've seen, I don't think that may happen again, or I hope it won't happen again, because they're now approaching the final sector. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like Sims and Doc are a lot closer to each other. That is something that 97 won't like at all, as their 1-2 was thrown out of the window, seeing their first driver crash, and then their second, as it seems like the Temi almost was wide again.
Datemi's still on 52% of the vote to win so far, so the majority of people believe that Datemi will take the win for the Marrakesh ePrix. Sims falling 23.3 seconds, Datemi back up to pace. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with 97. Dark may want to see if they can get ahead of the fleet, however. Looks like... Oh, because Sims just hit the wall slightly. I don't think that'll be losing them too much time. I think 97, they had a 1-2. At the end of the race, they would have wanted to the 1-2. So, I think they're going to be telling Dark, push, push, push. We want a 1-2.
Yeah, but they definitely want to don't put on too much pressure. Looking how far Officer Cap is, he's only 9 seconds behind. Any major mistake here could cause for Officer Cap to come straight in and steal the podium. Still better to get a 1-3 than a 1-4. Of course, they want that 1-2, but you don't want to risk it all. As it seems like Sims seems to have a horrible run at the last corner, possibly touching the wall.
Coming through now into turn 8. What's it looking for the fleet? Smooth for the fleet and smooth for the 927. Unlike we saw earlier with Sim Somo Sim. This is the sharpest corner of the track.
Yeah, it seems like Sims has regained his confidence throughout the race. But he just needs to know. Doc just needs to know not to push too much, as Officer Cap could be right there to steal it. And Sims must be pushing with everything. He is the last remaining fleet. As Doc goes wide and out of proportion, that's going to lose him a bit of time though.
Sims now on track for P2. Just going to have to wait and see though. One mistake from this fleet is going to give P2 back to Dark, and possibly Officer
Doc
Cap.
hit the wall. Doc spun! But Doc hit the wall, losing him more time there. That is not good at all for him.
Okay, Dark.
Sims almost causing a spin, but Doc has caused this for himself, being 5 seconds back now after the Cap setting his fastest first sector of the race. But it seems like Sims has just walked away with this P2. Doc just needs to keep it clean here. He can't be pushing too much.
I'm interested. Go on.
Sorry?
I'm interested to see what Innertech are thinking with Officer Cap. Will they be telling him to push at this point? Because 3 laps to go in the race. 3-4 laps to go. Officer Cap, green sector 1, only 6 seconds, and you can get a podium. So are they going to be telling that orange and black car to push?
Yeah, of course, Inotech definitely would want for Doc to stop. 97 would definitely want Doc to stop pushing, try and keep it clean, as if he makes any mistake here, Officer's right there to snatch it up. And of course, Officer winning last week, we all know he is a very fast driver here.
Sims, 3 seconds between P2 and P3. Lion Guy, do you think Dark will be able to get P2, or do you think it's going to the fleet?
I think it's going to the fleet. Sims has just Sims goes very wide there, as Sims almost hit the wall. I almost jinxed it, but I think Sims has made the least amount of mistakes currently and is keeping the car clean, as he seems to be making a bunch of mistakes now that I've said this. But definitely...
You've jinxed it.
Yes, I definitely have, but it seems like he has definitely kept it clean, as Datemi has definitely closed down here.
Oh, it's looking closer,
And based on what I'm hearing, Shady is not very happy with his FE reserve in Sims, who is actually reserved for the 97 FE team. So both of these guys are trying to fight over a possible main seat in the future at that FE team.
The gap between Sims and Dark has fallen half a second now. Going into lap 27 of 29 laps of this Marrakesh ePrix here in Africa.
Yeah, and it seems like, just look at how far ahead Datemi is. He's almost half a lap ahead. Datemi must just be enjoying this, trying to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. Of course, he needs to keep up some pressure, but probably just wants to keep the car safe and keep it home.
Yeah, at this rate, I don't think Datemi needs to push very hard.
As Dark seems to, we're definitely gonna, this battle right here is gonna come down to the wire here. As Dark, as Sims gets a bit out of proportion through that corner, but Dark fast sector 1 slipstream could be a big deal through this.
Massive straight here. Well, not massive in terms of some of the other tracks we've visited, but in terms of this track, a massive straight here. There's 3 long straights on the track, and Dark was right in the slipstream of the fleet down there. Sharp left-hander coming up to a back marker. That could also aid Sims in terms of slipstream, because no matter your position on track, if there's a car ahead of you, it's going to be giving you slipstream. So I believe that is lowly sneaky Ishan06P going to be given the fleet slipstream, who just banged the wall there slightly, whilst Dark is going to be getting the slipstream off of the green car.
Well, it seems like our fleet seems to have touched that curb too much on the exit, causing him to ride too much. Seems like they have closed down a bit onto Temi, but going through this turn, the I-8 seems closer, and it seems like Sims has made a very small mistake going through there.
They're neck and neck. They're neck and neck.
They're neck and neck. It's gonna be, with this being the penultimate lap of the race, we're gonna see who can keep it clean through these corners.
Oh, it's so hard to see.
Yeah, it's really. And of course, we did have a tie last week, but it seems like Dark is starting to get the advantage of Sims. So we go on board with Sims. Yes, Sims is behind here. But it's going to be very tight.
The sector update line is here. Dark's ahead, but barely, by 0.6 of a second on the timings. That can all change by the end of the lap, because Datemi has just started the final lap of the race, lap 29 of 29. It's going to be so close for P2 and P3, so let's stay with them.
Of course, we'll watch out for Datemi taking left, crossing into sector 3.
Oh, Sam's going wide.
Yeah, that's gonna. As long as if Dark keeps it clean here, he has about a second and a half gap on him. Yeah, Sims goes very wide again. Sims just cannot get this first turn right and just keeps on going very wide. Like Datemi is heading into his final sector here.
Yeah, this has been an absolutely commanding drive from the 97 car. It's... We thought Sims was going to do this, but Sims didn't. So Datemi took up the role and decided that they would.
Small mistake, actually.
Yeah, just a little mistake, but that's not going to lose them 30 seconds lead over their teammate, weaving across the track. Don't spin it! Don't spin it! Come on, just get across the line. You haven't won it yet. Don't lose it now.
You haven't won it yet. You haven't won it. As he takes the checkered flag, of course, Datemi being his first race in I-8 takes the win in his first race. But of course, the battle between Dark and Sims, they can't be doing all that Datemi did, of course, finishing with over 30 seconds of a gap.
But it's not all over for the 97 of Dark. Sims goes really wide at the final corner. Dark takes P2. Sims takes P3. Officer Cap in the inner tech is going to be rounding out P4, best of the rest. Excluding the podium sitters in today's race, Nicholas in the Pro Drive is going to run very wide in the last corner, but they're going to be taking P5 for Pro Drive. P6 is going to be going to X21. I believe this may be their first ever points in Ion for FOX-ish. P6 for X21. FF Devon for Torrent going to be lining up P7 at the end of the race. P8's going to go to Tinger's 10 in the Dolphin Electric car. Runaway Drive is going to finish P9 in the other Pro Drive, and P10 is going to go to Random New Person, the other Innotech teammates to Officer Cap, rounding off the final points position of the Marrakesh ePrix.
Yeah, definitely a very good race, as most people predicted Datemi would win the race, and he has done that. But of course, with a very commanding lead throughout this race, as it is 97-1-2 in IEC. That should cause for a very good celebration for that team.
They're going to be partying into the night. Top 3 being told by the race director to head to the podium, which we're going to be doing too. Well, I'm out of breath after that race.
Yeah, definitely very exciting there, and we have the Pro Series of Formula E coming up very shortly. That should be very good to watch.
So this track certainly didn't disappoint, standing in for Auckland, of course. But that race was certainly very, very exciting indeed. Here's the podium. We're going to be seeing the drivers heading up here very, very shortly. The official results are being counted. There they are. Kaikera just posted them in the Ion Formula E Discord server. Datemi winning, Dark coming second, and Sim coming third.
Yeah, as we should see these guys on the podium very shortly. Of course, this being XTZ's 1-2, and also notable mention is X21 taking their first ever points in Ion, which is a big accomplishment for that team, who has been controversial, to say the least, in their short history in Ion the last few years.
Team staff making their way upstairs now. I think I can see Toots walking up. So Toots may be doing some. I don't know what Toots is doing.
And I believe it's Shady who is the representative, and Sims has left the game, so we will not be seeing him on the podium. We'll be seeing the two 97s on the podium today. Of course, it might be very interesting to see if either one of them wants to come in for an interview after the podium real quick.
We'll find out. Obviously, Formula E is up next. I can see some of the drivers for the KRR team getting ready. And I believe I can see the drivers waiting at the podium door. Here's the music. Here is Dark P2. Next up should be Sims. Or Sims isn't here, I don't know. Sims isn't somewhere. But here is Datemi, winner of the Marrakesh ePrix in BMW i8. Shady, the team representative for 97 Cognizant Racing. Sims isn't here, so Sims isn't on the podium.
Yep. We could possibly get an interview with our race winner very shortly. But of course, coming up later in a few short moments, we'll be seeing the live Formula E qualifying around Marrakesh, as we've all been teleported to the podium. So very shortly, we'll be seeing the qualifying for Marrakesh for the Formula E ePrix, and then we'll be seeing the race at 12:50 EST. Of course, be tuned in for that, and I hope you come again and to watch Ion in the future.
See you all, everybody. Thank you for watching. Remember, Formula E is up next. I've done something with YouTube, so hopefully you'll be redirected to that stream immediately once this one ends. So stay tuned. Ion will return in a few minutes' time.